All right, and we're live. So, this next run is Shantae and the Pirate's Curse, the Dark Magic and Harp Squid category. Did I get that right?
Yes, that is right.
All right, and this is TSD or the Sound Defense. Say hello.
Hello, everybody. Thank you for staying up till a million o'clock in the morning to watch.
Yeah, huge props to everybody in chat who is staying awake at this ungodly hour to support this stream. Thank you so much. All right, we ready to go?
Yep, just tell me when.
All right. Let's make sure you've actually got a decent timer going. All right. And time will start in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go.
All right, we are off. So this is Shantae and the Pirate's Curse. Third game in the Shantae series, but the most different of all of them. Because the normal trademark of the Shantae games, transformation, is not here for story-related reasons. And so instead there's a lot more core platforming going on. And this is especially the case in pirate mode, because this is basically New Game Plus. And as you can see right here, I have weapons that let me float through the air, I can jump up to 4 times, and I can also run Sonic fast. Which are all things that I would have to normally unlock, but I have them at the start. So right now this is just the traditional beginning Shantae tradition of the town is currently under attack, partially on fire, and so I have to save it before I get fired as the guardian genie of the town. So normally some people will spend this time attacking a handful of guards, picking up some gems, because this run, it's pretty dependent on items and on RNG, which is not to say that RNG can totally kill a run, but you do sort of need to plan around it if things start to go wrong. I don't know. I had good RNG earlier today, so hopefully it still carries over. We will see. So right here we have the first boss, the Ammo Baron, and I'm hoping he'll be nice to me. If he starts charging, he started charging, so he's not being very nice today. Basically, I have to wait around for him to give me these red cannonballs, and then I'm trying to do what is a pikeless strat. Most people, when they run this game, they use a pike ball here to get a bit of extra damage in on the guy. I'm trying it without a pike ball, which saves me the item. But it's a lot more precise, and you can just see I screwed it up just barely. I missed it by 1 hit, and that unfortunately is going to add a cycle to my time. That was the 1 hit that I needed. It's a very precise trick, and usually I get it, but this time I didn't, and so it's going to add like 20 seconds or so. Oh well, that's too bad. Ironically, this still has PB potential because the last phase of my personal best was so disastrous. So, I don't know, I guess we're going to find out exactly how this goes. As far as story goes, I've just been summoned to court for attacking the rightful owner of the town. Oh. Yeah, there's a little bit of story happenings here, so if any donations come in, feel free to just interrupt and say so. For now, Shantae is going to take a bath in this bathtub that she doesn't own because it's a trap. A trap laid by Risky Boots, who was watching us hop in the bathtub from the ceiling the whole time. So right here, this is the introduction of one of the 2 collectibles we are going to be picking up in this run. This is a Cacklebat. There are 20 of them spread throughout the game, and I have to collect all of them in order to unlock the true ending and the true final boss. They go down pretty quick and easy if you know what you're doing. They can be a little trolly, but overall they're not much trouble. So yeah, there's this collectible, and there's also heart squids. This is not technically 100%, because 100% requires a lot of shopping and a lot of money grinding, and no one likes doing that in a marathon. So instead we do what we call DMHS, which is Dark Magic Heart Squids, because that's like all the collectibles you have to go out of your way for, and it gives you a completed results screen, and so we all feel pretty good about this as a 100% substitute. Meantime, I'm going to quickly save my game because this save is actually mandatory. They do not let you out of town until you save your game. Sort of a way of teaching you. Anyway, right here, you're going to see, you just saw the glitch that breaks the entire game. That is known as the risky shuffle. Basically, the dash mechanic in this game requires you to walk forward for a certain period of time before you can dash. But if you use the D-pad and the control stick together, you can basically trick the game into thinking you're moving in one direction when you're actually basically walking back and forth. So you can basically dash from anywhere, which the developers did not expect, and this allows us to just break the game into tiny pieces. Meantime, right now, I have to hop in here. Oop, that was good. So I'm doing another glitch right here. I have this pogo attack with my scimitar that lets me hit enemies from above. And so what I'm doing is I am getting myself trapped between the ceiling and the snake's hitbox. And it basically allows me to hit and kill the snake multiple times because the hitbox sticks around for so long. And so I can get multiple item drops off of a single enemy. And that happened twice in a row. And so I'm supposed to get a flesh pop from one in every 2 snakes. But here you could see I got 2 flesh pops from every single snake. So it's an extremely efficient glitch. And you're never going to see it again, probably. So a bit more story stuff going on here. We're doing a little bit of sequence breaking, handing over and getting items that we're not supposed to have for another dungeon or so. And that's one of the perks of New Game Plus. So now I'm going to do just a little bit more story stuff. While I check on my money, I have 34 gems. Not the ideal amount. Ideally, by the time I get back to town, I have 50 gems, because that allows me to do all the purchases I really want. You can make do with as few as 20 gems. And I will talk more about what I'm going to buy when I get back there. 8, 39, 40, 41. Okay, so gonna hop up here, gonna pick up another heart squid in this area. There's one hidden up here in the trees that a lot of people don't know about. And speaking of hidden in the trees, you can just see I did another risky shuffle there from basically on a dime. Allowed me to launch myself across the top of the forest. I hope you're not bored of the risky shuffle, because you're going to see it an awful lot. So there's another dark magic down. And I'm going to go back and I'm going to charge through these scarecrows once again, because I'm going to hope that they drop some more items for me. They could drop monster milks, which would be really handy before the first dungeon because they increase my damage. Or they can drop super pike balls, which are always handy against some of the later bosses. No dice though, they're very stingy. So instead I'm going to have to make do. I just collected $100 for returning a library card that I borrowed because this economy is completely bizarro world. So right there, I just bought 3 pirate flares and a super pike ball. Pirate flares are invaluable in this run because they allow you to instantly teleport from wherever you are to the beginning of an island. And that is a huge time saver. And the Super Pike Ball will be useful against one specific boss a couple dungeons from now. We'll see. So right now, we just entered the first major playable area, Saliva Island. You will see why it's called that in just a bit. Whoa, what are you? What are you? What are you? What are you? Oh, thank goodness. It's a bubble shield. A bubble shield is mandatory for the final boss. You need at least one. The ideal number of bubble shields is 4, but that is hard to come by. But it's great to have one so early, because now I don't have to worry about it. Anyway, these two girls right here, they're here on spring break, but they're sad because there's no water in the pools. So we're going to try and turn the water back on. First, I'm going to walk over here and grab another cackle bat. And then I'm going to talk to this Gigalux. I paused 3 times because for some reason it skips a blinking animation from this guy and it saves several seconds. None of us know why. But we do it anyway. And in any case, we just got the water turned back on, as you can see. So now they can play in the pool if they really want to. And first we're going to fight another cackleback here. Whoop. He did not go the way I thought he was, but that's okay. So another thing I'm doing here is when a cacklebat is destroyed, I leave the room and then come back, because that just skips the animation of the cacklebat exploding. It saves a handful of seconds. Thank you, Cube King. I can feel your energy flowing into me. So some Deus Ex Machina is happening, and we just got a Petrify spell. There was a character earlier on that we were supposed to talk to whose wife has been petrified. By the way, they're playing in the Saliva. So his wife got petrified, and he's been looking for the Petrify spell so that he can unpetrify her, and that's what we just got. So we're going to go save her. So we'll hand this off, and he is going to unpetrify his wife. Oh no, things have gone horribly awry. And, well, the good news is that the dungeon's open. So just focus on that, think happy thoughts. So we're going to enter the dungeon, and we're immediately going to leave. Into this wall! There is a hidden Easter egg dungeon in here. The developers of the game, they threw in this Easter egg, which is the first dungeon of the very first game. And it's supposed to be just this little fun thing, but we actually use it in the speedrun because of keys. Basically, you've all played a Zelda game, and whenever you pick up a small key, it says you can only use it in this dungeon. That's not the case in Shantae. You can pick up a key in one dungeon and use it in another. And that is what we're doing because it is far faster to pick up a couple of keys here than to deal with the keys we would have to get later down the line. So this saves us a good 1 to 2 minutes right here going through this Easter egg of a dungeon. And so we're done there. So now we have to go to the boring normal dungeon. Come on, be nice. Be nice, please. Yes! Oh my goodness, that is a really fortunate drop. That monster milk increases my whip and scimitar damage by 5 each. And so that's a big help against this first boss. So we're going to pick up 1 heart squid. We're going to pick up 2 heart squids. There are 3 heart squids in every dungeon, and there are 0 cacklebats in every dungeon. And outside of that, it varies from island to island. But the number 3 is a good way to keep track.
I've just got to interject and say how adorable the heart squids are.
Our squids are the most adorable thing. Oh my goodness, another bubble shield. And yeah, it's... If you like the heart squids, this is the run for you, because we collect them and we never use them. Which is good, because if you use them, it doesn't turn out so well for the heart squids. I'll say that.
Yeah, if I remember correctly, spoiler warning here, mute the stream for about 30 seconds. Don't they get thrown into a pot or something so that you can use them to collect more hearts?
Yeah, they get smashed with a giant hammer and melted down.
Oh yeah, that.
Yep.
Alright, spoiler warning over.
So yeah, we just picked up that monster milk and it allowed us to wreck that one gauntlet. And it's going to last long enough that I can also use it against this boss. This Cyclops plant is a 2-phase boss, but don't blink, you'll miss the first phase. First phase over. Basically, actually I have to focus real quick. There we go. So basically what I'm doing is I'm wedging myself in between the ceiling and the boss and sort of doing ridiculous amounts of damage with my sword. Way more than was intended. So it allows me to basically melt this boss. So he goes extremely fast, and he goes even faster because I had that monster milk. And I don't know how I lost so much time on this split. I wonder what happened. What was I doing over the past 10 minutes or so? Oh well, I'll figure it out. I did just jump over that heart squid on purpose. It is faster to get it at another time. So for now, I'm just going to make sure I have everything I need. Yeah, we're good. Okay. So now we're on to the next island, which is Spiderweb Island, which is every speedrunner's least favorite island because of the main gimmick of the island, which we'll see shortly. There's another risky shuffle there. If you've been counting, I haven't, because it's just constant all the time. So hopefully I don't... Oh no, I did get trolled by ghosts. Those ghosts are terrible. They can spawn like right on top of your head, and as you saw, they just knock you all the way down. And that's not a pleasant experience, and it loses several seconds and about half heart. So we're always hoping for some friendly ghosts, or Caspers as we say, but doesn't always work out, unfortunately. Sometimes these guys will actually spawn inside your hitbox. Get in the ground, get in the ground, get in the ground. Yeah, so you'll be jumping up and a ghost will just appear on top of you and there's basically nothing you can do. But I'm done with that. And now it's time for everyone's favorite, Run Run Roddy Tops. This is about a 4.5 minute, more or less auto-scroller section. Just because your speed is fixed and there are very few speed tricks you can do to speed it up. I can no longer dash. I can't use any of my pirate abilities. All I can do is run and jump. I don't have any health either, which is a good thing, because I can't die here. But if I take a hit, I'm sent back to the beginning of the room, and that can lose anywhere between 5 and 40 seconds, depending on the room. So these tongue enemies, they are a bit annoying to skip past. You have to be really precise with where you drop down. If you move just a little too far forward, you will hit the tongue and you will take damage. Luckily, they went very well this time. And now for an actual for real auto-scroller, it is these Super Mario World style spike pillars. These are on a fixed cycle. There's nothing I can do to speed them up. So we just chill and sit back and watch this really awesome sprite work of Shantae standing there antsy, hoping to get moving. RNG's been pretty friendly so far, though. That's good. Alright, we are nearly done with that. Just a little more. And you always get stopped there. Alright, well, we're basically done with the spike pillars, for now. So now these tombstones, I'm jumping over them because some of them, like you just saw, have a chance of just getting up and running into you. So we know which ones have the potential to start moving. Not all of them do start moving, but we avoid them all anyway just to be on the safe side. And now for the next enemy, the kissy robots. They chase after you, trying to give you a big ol' kiss. Because you're so cute. Every one of you in chat is super cute. And so we need to run away from these guys because we have more important things to do. Like save our friend who has been bitten by a spider and is probably going to do whatever happens when a zombie dies. It's not really clear. The science is not sure. You're probably wondering how much longer this will take. We're about halfway done. It is very long and very annoying. And we're about to get to my favorite enemy in this section, who we now call the Stevens, because all of our other names for them are not marathon safe. And now we get to the worst hallway in this whole section, the gates of hell. Yes, they were open for me. Sometimes that little section of pillars will be closed, and then you just have to wait around, and you could be chased by those little ghost snakes. So I got very fortunate there. And now this final room throws everything at me at once. And so it's a very long room, about 40 seconds, and the very end is the most dangerous part. So it is not uncommon to die at the end and have to go through this enormous room all over again. Yes, we're done. We're out. And that was one of the best Run Run Rally Tops I've ever had. That is excellent. Don't think anything really went wrong there. NSFM, exactly. And no, there is no incentive to get me to say the actual names on the air. Alright, saved a handful of seconds. There! I'm still mysteriously behind. Well, that's another harp squid picked up. I think there's only 3 more. And here, this is where we use the squid oil that we picked up earlier. This is part of our big long sequence break. Normally, we would have to leave here and go back into the sewers to get a travel brochure, to get the squid oil. But thanks to the power of New Game Plus, we don't have to do any of that. We can just continue on our way. There are only like 2 instances of backtracking in the whole game. And it's sort of enforced because the backtracking events don't even activate until you get to that point. So for now, I've got 2 more cacklebats to fight. It'd be easier if I faced the right way when I did. So you're about to see another quick trick. Basically, if I were to immediately dash out of this room, I would be stopped by a mysterious invisible wall. So instead what I do is that. I buffer a charge and walk into the next room, and then unleash the charge on the other side of the room. Then I can jump out and not be stopped by the mysterious invisible wall. There are like 3 or so points in the game where that happens. And we're still not entirely sure why, but at least we know how to avoid them. So now I'm in Cackle Tower, and normally I would be heading down from here to do a fight and pick up a key. Another key that I would bring forward to avoid some really annoying things later. But because of the category, I can't. I actually have to do the really annoying stuff that comes later in the game. So instead, I just go directly to these few heart squids here. You're going to see lots of areas in this run that you would not normally see in an any percent run or even an all dark magic run. Thankfully, all the heart squids are very much clumped together in these early dungeons. Build up a dash. There we go. Oh, a super pike ball. That's a really nice drop. That's a rare drop, but that's extremely valuable against some of the later bosses. Alright, we get another key, but we're about to use it immediately. So when we leave this dungeon, we're going to have one key on hand, and we're going to be using it to skip a really annoying part of the game later. But for now, it's just a straight shot to the boss of this dungeon. Yeah, all the wind currents in here, that's because this is where we pick up the hat, which lets you float, and the wind currents can push you up. So there's a lot of those. I'm just prepping my super pike ball right there in order to face this familiar foe. And so this is a really tricky and interesting fight. The pike ball does most of the damage, as you can see. This is where... Ow. Okay, that didn't go according to plan. This is where we see a really interesting glitch. Basically, if I whip... Ah, darn it, it's just not working out. If I whip and jump and take damage... Okay, that wasn't a bad fight. Basically... I'm tongue-tied. If I jump and then whip and then I take damage... I don't get knocked back, I just stay where I am in the air, and all of my jumps reset. So basically what you can do is this combination of jumping and whipping and getting damage that lets you stay up in the air indefinitely, just constantly whacking the spider with your super pike balls. Oh, by the way, the cacklebat we blew up before we started the dungeon, we just picked it up now. That saves 1 second. Alright, so we're done here for now. And just going to make sure everything is in order. Yes, everything's in order. So now we're on our way to Tan RNG Island. This is where a lot of RNG comes into play because this is where we're going to get most of our critical drops for the rest of the game. And if the game is friendly, it gives us a lot of nice things. If the game is unfriendly, we're going to have to do some shopping later. Monster Milk's a nice thing to have. And I already have a couple of bubble shields. Right here, though, this is our prime. This is the most dangerous game. That is the Scorp Gal. And I just screwed up a risky shuffle. The Scorp Gal is guaranteed to drop something. There's a 50% chance of 5 gems. There is a 30% chance of a super monster milk and a 20% chance of a super pike ball. And both of those super items are just invaluable against the later bosses. So we kill a lot of Scorp Gals in the hopes that we get a lot of good drops. And if we do, then the rest of the game ends up being a breeze. Anyway, this is one of the 2 backtracking instances we have to do. We have to go to these previous places and get... excuse me. First of all, we're getting these heart squids. It's finally time to pick them up. But second of all, we need to pick up pieces of a passcode that will let us enter Tanline Temple, which is the other worst part of the game. But it's unfortunately necessary in this category. Another thing that's necessary, just a little bit, is some money grinding. There are 3 pots hidden in that wall, and each pot contains 10 gems, and they reset each time you enter the room. So this is where you go when you want to grind lots of money. And I don't need to grind that much. I only need another 2 trips here. Now only 1 more trip. So there are some upgrades I need to buy and some useful items that I pick up for safety's sake. That's all we need. Mermaid Row gets cleared pretty nice and easy. That particular hallway can really trip people up. It can be very annoying. So, yes, we are all done here forever, never going back. I'm trying to remember what I forgot here, because I did forget one heart squid, and I don't know exactly where it is. But I have a suspicion that I know. Anyway, we just got the second part of the password. So we're going to do a little bit of shopping. Another 3 pirate flares, this super monster milk, and a couple of hair upgrades to increase our DPS. So I suspect I never went in here. I never did. Well, that explains some splits. Alright, there we go. Now we're back on track. And effectively no time lost, because there's no difference getting it now or later, just my splits look wacky. But you can't even see those. So we're gonna do a little bit more farming in hopes of drops. Another monster milk is not too bad. But now we're getting to Skeleton Row, and this is where hopefully we get a lot of super pike balls. There's one, there's two. Oh, that's some good news. This is me picking up another sequence break item. How many more? Come on, be friendly. Oh my goodness. These are some extremely friendly skeletons today. So this is some great news right here. Bird, fish, hippo. That is our password to get in. It's different every time, and you can't possibly guess it before you find the code. The game won't let you in. Bird, fish, hippo. I am absolutely going to forget that. Alright. Alright, that's a pretty good entry right there. So this is Tanline Temple, and it's terrible for several reasons. First off, I guess the fan service isn't bad, but they've taken away all my items, so I can't move fast. And I'm now in a stealth sequence, and if I get caught, I go back to the very beginning of the whole thing. So getting caught here can be unbelievably costly. So I'm going to be just a little bit cautious. There is a way to get through this room faster, but it's very hard. Okay, that was kind of close. Really cutting it close on those chains. So I'm going to pick up one key. In any percent, this is the only key we get here, because the other ones are way out of the way. But here we have no choice, because we have a heart squid in here that we have to pick up. And there's a key on the way, so we might as well get that key. So that room went extremely well. But we're not done. Normally we'd be done by now, but I have more work to do because I chose this ridiculous category that takes like 10 minutes longer. Yeah, these guys, they're really not too bright. I think, oh goodness, oh wow. That was dangerous and stupid. It was danger-rupid. If I had been caught there, that would have been like a 2-minute time loss. Final guard is cleared. Alright, there's no longer any danger. So now I can relax just a little bit. I'm going to pick up this second key right here. Ooh, that didn't go according to plan. Alright, so we're nearly through here. We just had to stop into this room to get the heart squid. It's the most painful heart squid in the game because it adds so much time. Yeah, now we're basically done with Tanline Temple. We have all 3 keys that we need. And as you can see here, the reason we need these keys is because there were 3 other girls who were captured. And I have to free them in order to help bust me out of here. There's also a cacklebat in here that I'm going to kill now, even though I can't pick it up because they stole my magic lamp. So I'm going to have to come back another time. In the meantime, enjoy pixel girls in pixel bikinis, I guess. It's really kind of amazing that in a span of about 30 minutes, they managed to arrange 4 kidnappings. The reason that they are kidnapping us is because we have been mistaken for their long-lost princess. Because apparently all 3 of us, despite being completely different colors and shapes and heights, are all the spitting image of their princess. So now we're going to pull this giant rope and get out and confront the people who kidnapped us. Oh, and there's the princess. It turns out she was at the store for 30 minutes. And in that time, they arranged 4 kidnappings. Anyway, we're all done there. And that's the last really annoying part of the game taken care of. So I'm going to pop in here and get this final cacklebat. And then I'll be on my way to hopefully get some more good drops. Hand over the gold MacGuffin. So even though gold is like a really soft metal, they somehow managed to pick away this whole wall. And I'm just going to really quickly check my items. I have 1 super monster milk and 4 super pike balls. That's okay. I would really love some more super monster milks right about now. Hey, thank you, game. You are unusually nice today. See, I'm hoping I don't have to do much more shopping. 3 super monster milks and 3 super pike balls is an absolute minimum if you don't want the run to be a disaster when you get to the final boss. So I'm going to pick up this cacklebat, and that'll give me another shot at the 2 scorp gals outside. See what we can get. Whoops. I almost forgot you were there. Super pike ball, pretty good. I have a whole bunch. I actually have basically all the pike balls I'm going to need for the rest of the run at this point. So now I'm just looking for monster milk. And I hope I don't have to grind for money to buy it. Because that would be really annoying. But in the meantime, I'm going to get at another cacklebat right around here. Very cleverly hidden. In any other quicksand pit that kills you, there are skulls coming out of it. But there are no skulls coming out of this one. So that's your only clue that you actually have to drown in here. Yes, you get a full 4D commentary experience with Shantae. So right here, this is the final cacklebat on Tanline Island. And now he dead. Oh yeah, that's another annoying thing right there. How long it takes to suck up the dark magic in your lamp is random. Or at least it's controlled by forces we don't understand. Another super monster milk. Really doing well in this department right now. There's a few more Scorp gals ahead of us. Alright, so in here, in Tanline Temple, is one of 2 heart squids I forget all the time. So I'm going to make extra sure to pick it up. Let's see. Gonna head over in this direction. Gonna pick up this key. And at the same time, whoops, that did not go according to plan at all. If you do it right, you can manage to kill the Scorp gal and lose absolutely 0 time. I did not end up doing it so well. Alright, and in this giant annoying block room is the 3rd heart squid, just barely touching these spikes. It's really, really easy to get knocked into those spikes and immediately be sent back to the start of the room. Much easier than you think. And 2 more Scorp gals. What's that? What's this? What's this? Not what I wanted. Alright, if I did this right, I skipped... Oh, dang it. Magic pixel right there. So if you do that right, you manage to get underneath the entire crusher in one go. But it is amazingly precise. So you see people squished under it a lot, especially if those people are me. So right now I've got like 1 billion super pike balls. I think I've got enough for the entire rest of the game, but I am kind of hurting on super monster milks. Actually, it's not that bad. If I can buy 1 more super monster milk, I think I'm pretty much set, actually. Alright, there we go. So this is the phase that I wanted to kill the Squid Baron on, because he works on a set script. He dashes, he jumps, he dashes, and then he eats. And you want to kill him, and you want him to be eating right here, because this is where you get the most free damage off of him. Alright, that was a decent fight. You can get a lot of really solid damage off of him if he's eating there, but if he eats in the previous phase, you get very little time for that free damage, and so the fight does not go as well. An inexplicable gold split. That's pretty nice. Alright, so at this point I am 1 super monster milk short of where I'd like to be. But they're cheap enough that I could probably just buy it, and I think that's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to raise the funds. I'm going to hold a GoFundMe to pick up the last super monster milk. So next is Mudbog Island, where we won't go. Instead, we have to go back to Scuttletown. There are a few things here that we still need. We have to kill a cacklebat or 2. We have to pick up this heart squid. And there's also a crucial plot item that won't let us advance unless we get it. And that's the real reason we're here. Otherwise, we would have come back another time. So there's 1 cacklebat. And everyone say hi to the mayor. Hi, mayor. Bye, mayor. He's sitting there depressed because he doesn't own his town anymore. Because of plot events. There we go. I believe that is every single cacklebat in Scuttletown. So now we're just going to head back and get the plot crucial item. How much money do I need? I need 105 gems. Bolo, what's the haps? He's really dumb, but now he has glasses, so he's really super smart. So now we get the death mask, which lets us advance. And so now we can make our way to Mudbog Island, which casually is an absolute nightmare to play because there are so many enemies and they do so much damage. But with the risky shuffle, we go anywhere we want and we stop for nobody. So I'm basically going to sail over the entirety of Mudbog Island. Brief pit stop here. There is a trick you can do to keep your charge going, but it's frame perfect and I'm bad at it. So there's one heart squid, and there's a cacklebat hiding down here. Ouch. That was rude. Now you're dead. Alright, so we've taken that little detour and now we can continue on. You can see all of the enemies here, all of like the beetles and the gross muck foes. All of these guys do a bunch of damage and there's so many of them. It's a very hard area to get through. Being bad at your speed game not allowed. In that case, I quit. Next run. What is the next run? They're starting now. Well, while we wait for them, I'll finish up this run, I guess. So I'm going to kill another cacklebat in here. This here is the Village of Lost Souls, which is where most of the action on Mudbog Island takes place. Everything outside of here is just a straight shot. This is where we go up, down, all around, pick a bale of cotton, trying to get certain items in order to advance. So, one of these items is over in this direction. It is the blue coin. We need 3 coins to give to 3 mystical gamers in order to play a very difficult and mystical game. Compensate by doing the Nutbuster. Obviously, I am doing the Nutbuster. That is an absolute requirement. Also, what's going on, Jangle Storm? There's the green coin. Just one more to go. And right here, oh, darn it, I screwed it up. That was another place where you need to buffer a dash, but I was too far away, so it didn't work out. I'm gonna dash in here, mess up this cacklebat. Alright, and in here, in this Village of Lost Souls, is the other heart squid that I always forget, and which I forgot about earlier today in a practice run, and my shame was never ending. Alright, so now I definitely have all the money I need. In fact, I have overstepped the mark a little bit. This allows me to buy an extra bubble shield, so it's okay. So I'm going to dash through here. And now I have all 3 coins, so I can proceed with the story and play the mystical game of Tir na Nog, which we will see in just a second. Oh my goodness, I forgot once again about the thing I told myself I wouldn't forget. This heart squid. If you forget this heart squid, it is the worst thing in the world going back here. So I'm glad I remembered it at the last second. So now we're going to play the game. The game is heads or tails. I have to guess correctly 3 times in a row. And wow, it was easy as that. That's incredibly fortunate. You can be stuck there for quite a while. Like, you really are just guessing is it heads or tails? Though, if you guess wrong 3 times in a row, the 4th time you're guaranteed to make it through. So there is a failsafe, but there's also a wide variance in how long that can take. So heads, heads, heads is the absolute best you can get. And I'm very fortunate that it happened here. RNG has been really unbelievable this time around. So anyway, now that I have the manly musk and I smell like the worst man smelling man in the world, put up your Old Spice memes now. Now I'm allowed to get into the dungeon. And this dungeon normally is great because it's unbelievably broken by the risky shuffle. But in this category, we don't get to see the possibility. We don't get to see the really cool stuff. PB, absolutely possible in this run. In fact, it's looking kind of likely right now. As long as nothing horrible goes wrong. World record, almost certainly not. But we'll see. Yeah, normally right here, this whole dungeon is built around this elevator room. What you're supposed to do is arrange the elevators so that 3 of them are in a row and you have enough walking distance to do a dash. But with the risky shuffle, you can do a dash just straight from a point, which means you can immediately exit the dungeon and take on the boss without a second thought. And so this dungeon is completely busted. But I don't get to show that off because I have to go through the rest of the dungeon and show these and get all these heart squids. So that makes it take substantially longer than it would otherwise. Yeah, a bento box is kind of nice. Food items are always good because they mean more animation skips. Basically, I'm able to override the animation of me picking up a key or some key item with the animation of me eating food, which is shorter. And so that saves several seconds each time. But it's not always worth it. I'll probably do it anyway because it is cool to see. Anyway, I've picked up all the heart squids now, so time now to just proceed forward to the boss. And this is what you would normally do. You would just immediately enter here and go through there and go on to fight the boss. I am going to do a real quick safety save because I know I'm on PB pace, but this dragon can still completely ruin you, and so I'm going to take that chance. I mean, I'm not going to take that chance. I am going to play it slightly safe. Monster Milk and Super Pike Ball. Oh, almost got a 2 cycle there. Didn't quite work out. But that's still a very fast Dagron kill. Somehow I lost like 30 seconds on that split, and I honestly don't know where it came from. My splits are... I'm just scratching my head right now. I don't know what happened. I don't know what's ever happened. Anyway, I would normally... Let's see. Normally I would have used a Pirate Flare, but the thing about Pirate Flares is that they can only be used outdoors. And this area technically counts as indoors, so a Pirate Flare is not allowed to be used here. So I have to escape the Village of Lost Souls before I can leave Mudbog Island. But there we go, I'm all done. I'm just going to do a quick check, make sure everything went well. So now we're going on to Frostbite Island, which is definitely easier than Mudbog Island. Like, the enemies, they do a lot more damage, but you generally don't have to interact with them at all. Like, you see me sailing over them and forgetting something extremely important in this direction. Forget to ram that wall, which generates a cackle bat out of thin air. So the odds of a PB are absolutely slipping away right now, unfortunately. Yeah, I'm just very confused by my splits at the moment. So I'm just taking some time to think, reflect upon my life. Dodging all of these wolves. These wolves are a huge pain because they do 1.5 hearts of damage. And as you can see, I don't have very many hearts. And so they can really ruin your day. If you just accidentally brush up against one, you're near death. But they also have a very small chance of dropping some great items. So if you have really bad RNG, sometimes it's worth it. Alright, so we got everything down here. And now we're going to go upwards into Propeller Town, which is where the real action happens. You'll notice that we started out on a frozen island, and we went upward, and things somehow got warmer. I'm not really sure how that works. I mentioned that at SGDQ, and I looked back at the chat later, and I saw a bunch of people saying that heat rises, which I can't tell if they're trolling or not, and I honestly don't think I want to know. Anyway, this cannon maze is a real pain for a casual player because the solution is not at all obvious. Once you know how to do it, it's really easy. But if you don't know how to do it, it's a horrible pain. Anyway, time to see more risky shuffles just breaking the game. You are not meant to dash through this room. You're meant to hang around on those flying chains. Even in pirate mode, you're not supposed to be doing any of this. This whole part of the game is just... this whole part of the game is broken immensely by the risky shuffle when you execute it correctly. When you don't execute it correctly, you look like a gibbon. So, that's me right now. We're nearly done here, though. We're nearly at the end of Propeller Town. It goes extremely fast when you have the ability to dash anywhere you like. In that room that I just went through, there's an extremely dangerous and difficult skip that could save 7 seconds. But it costs you your auto potion just to try it, and it's nearly frame perfect. The sound gibbon. I deserve that. Anyway, hanging out up here is another heart squid. Gonna dash from a point. And then we're going to move up in this area, which a lot of people don't see. Because up here is another cackle bat. Leave, come back. He dead. Now just a couple things left in here before we never have to see Propeller Town again. First off, this bozo. He's working for the bad guys, and so he's asking me to work for the bad guys. And against my better judgment, that's what I'm going to do. And the last thing is the final heart squid. So now we're done here. And we've run out of pirate flares, which would be bad because we still have other places we need to go, but we have some backup strategies. First off, I have to backtrack a little bit to Spiderweb Island. At the end of the Oubliette of Suffering, Mr. Mysterious Macho Man Randy Savage gave us a lost soul, and he doesn't know who it's for, but he suspects someone will know, and so we'll go talk to our zombie friends, because they're all dead things. Obviously, they know about other dead things. Trust me, the logic checks out. So we're going to see them to see what the deal is with this lost soul. So we're going to hand over the lost soul. It turns out it's the Spirit of Joe, which is a normal soul, but, you know, with a funky fresh mustache. And we'll also hand over the death mask, and in exchange, we get the pirate flare we need to get out of here. And we're still a pirate flare short, but we can buy it at the shop. And we have 2 more heart squids that we need to pick up while we're here, and we're going to do that now. First off, shopping. Pirate flare, 1 bubble, and 1 super monster milk. There we go. All my shopping's done for the rest of the game. So basically, the reason why I didn't get these heart squids before, it's a little bit complicated. Basically, when you dash through enemies, there is a brief, like right there is a brief hit stun delay. And the more enemies you hit, the smaller that delay is. But if you stop your charge in order to hop up here and pick up a heart squid, the hit stun delay resets. And so at the very beginning of the game, I was running through all those scarecrows, and eventually I was able to dash through them instantly. But if I had been stopping constantly to get these heart squids, I would have had to restart my charge all over again. Hit stun would have added up. Basically, it's a lot faster to get them now. And this is not close enough for a nutbuster. Now it is. Boom! Right in the Brandsons. That is the nutbuster, and we try and do it every single time. So that is done. Now we need to revive Sky's boyfriend, Barracuda Joe, so he can break up with her. And lastly, we have to complete our evil task and hand over the targeting mod. So now we have thoroughly served evil, and we're about to blow up the Sequinland Palace. But thankfully, it missed, and it blows up the entrance to the next dungeon instead. So this last dungeon is drastically changed by my choice of category. It's another one of those dungeons where you could conceivably just go in and go right to the boss because of the risky shuffle, and because it's really easy to get keys in this dungeon in pirate mode. But because of the heart squids, we have to go up, down, all over the place. So we're going to take an entirely different route. How many food items do I have? It's not... I'm going to do 1 animation skip so you all can see what it's like. But otherwise, it's not super worth it. I'm going to pick up this key here. I'm going to end up picking up 4 keys here. If only for the fact that there are 3 keys. There are 3 locked doors in the final boss room, basically. So I need 3 keys just to see the boss, even if I don't do anything else. But because I had to get this heart squid, I had to use up another key. And basically keys, 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 keys. That's one heart squid down. And right here, we're going to see how the animation skip works. Basically, in between, I will pick up this key, and I'll have a period of time between when I pick up the key and when I land. And right there, you saw me use an item, and eating that food overrides the key get animation that would have happened. And so instead, whoops, that's going to screw me up. And so instead of doing the key animation, I just do the much shorter food eating animation. If you can chain a bunch of them together, it saves several seconds. All right, we now have all of the collectibles in the game. So the only thing we have left to do is to fight the final bosses. So this is the final dungeon boss. This is a steel maggot. You have to hit the buttons on his back in the correct order. Unfortunately, we don't know the order. It's random every time. And right now I'm getting a really bad pattern. Yep, I got the worst possible pattern. So that really sucks. What really sucks more is when I just miss. Yeah, so basically you just have to hope that you get the right pattern. Alright, that time went very slightly better. That's still a really annoying steel maggot right there. I don't think I'm still on PB pace. It's honestly kind of hard to say because I accidentally erased these splits a few runs ago. So I'm as mystified as the rest of you. We will find out when the run is done. Now we have the map to the Lonely Grave. The Lonely Grave is the final island, but it's not really much of an... There's just a short cutscene that happens there. So we're gonna pick up this cutscene, and we need to do a very important trick here. We need to make sure to do a risky shuffle into the next room to see the ridiculous thing that happens. What? For some reason, like, the game forces you to go at walking speed even though you're dashing, and so you just sort of glide like you're on a linoleum floor with wool socks. It's very bizarre. Also, we awakened the world's greatest evil, and he's going to destroy the world. So we should probably do something about that. Yes, 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 yes. We have collected all of the collectibles. Thank you. I was proud of that description as well. So the final challenge before the final boss are the Pirate Master Trials. And these are 3 extremely annoying challenges. They're very difficult to do casually. They're just as difficult to do fast. And they're a big pain. And nobody really likes doing them. So we don't. Almost as soon as this game came out, we found a way to just skip past all of them. And that's what you're going to see. Basically, the hat, when you deploy the hat, you get just a few extra pixels of height. But it's just barely enough to skip past one door and go right to the next. This is known as the climb. And a perfect climb will save you over 2 minutes. And that is the climb. And so I'm going to do one more save here, because you'll notice I have 2 hearts right now. And the final boss hits for 2 full hearts. So I could conceivably be one-shot here. So I'm going to save. And now it's time for the final boss. Alright, so this boss in this category with the upgrades I have right now is immensely difficult. Every single hit, not in this phase. Actually, still sort of on this phase, every single hit count. You cannot really waste any time killing this guy. Because you need... Oh wow, that was extremely good. That was absolutely wonderful. You really cannot waste time killing this guy, because on his next 2 phases, he has extremely long, like 30-second cycles. So if you miss one cycle, your PB is shot. And it's really tough making those cycles. You have to hit all the hits you can.
And how close we are to time?
We are 2-3 minutes out, closer to 2 minutes out.
Okay.
Yeah. This is a long boss fight. Thankfully, this boss fight is made much easier by a bubble shield. I can just sort of stand here and not have to worry about getting shot. Oh boy, I think I've screwed this up. Yep, I screwed it up. I was facing the wrong way for like a fraction of a second, and I missed the one cycle. It's really an extremely tight boss fight. So there is 0 chance of a PB left anymore. Oh boy. Yep, this was a bad screw up on my part. That's very unfortunate. So I lost out on like 30 seconds there. And unfortunately, I also ran out my items, which is going to make the next phase harder as well. It's sort of a compounding effect. You have to be perfect for quite a while. But on the plus side, story stuff happened, and I got all my magic back. And so now I can really lay waste to this guy. Sort of. Like, you can see the damage. It's now saying that I do 999 damage. I'm not actually doing that much damage. They're just relabeling how much I do. I'm still just doing 15. Whoa, goodness. So yeah, so like monster milks still absolutely make a difference here. Okay, so I think I can get a 1 cycle here, fortunately. Yes, I did. Thank goodness. So that works out well. And now the final phase. Time is coming up in a handful of seconds, so
alrighty,
be ready on that. When he starts exploding after the 4th cannonball hit, I will call time.
Alright.
That's 2, 3, 4, and time.
That is a 1:14:17.
All right, that's what I got too. That is a minute off of my PB, which is unfortunate because the run started so well, but that's just how tight the final boss is.
Honestly, I'd say that's a pretty good time for a marathon time.
Yeah, I would say so. It's only a few minutes off the world record, which is not. I don't know how much that's really saying, but yeah, I think this went pretty well. I did not screw up anything super terrible, especially for 2:42 a.m. here on the West Coast.
Oh yeah, it is approaching 6 a.m. There are birds outside my window. I had to mute the stream to shut the window so that y'all wouldn't hear that. But yeah, it is looking like I'm going to be sticking around for a little while longer, so I will get everything set up to get ready for the next runner, which is Lori D. Bunnykins doing all scrolls for Splatoon. So unless you have anything else to say, TSD, I will swap it over to the Be Right Back screen and get that set up.
Oh, I think we're done here. Thanks a bunch.
All right, thank you.